My God, I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. Would you open your Bible to the second chapter of Luke's Gospel? And I want to finish up second part of the sermon, part 2 from last week. Same text, Luke chapter 2, verse 6 and 7, different focus. And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. And she brought forth her firstborn son and wrapped him in swaddling clothes and laid him in a manger. Touch somebody as you take your seat and just tell them, I can and I will. Now, you said that nice, but I need you to say it with some emphasis, a little sassiness. In fact, look at the person on the other side and just say, I said, I can, and I will. That's it. That's what I want to talk about in this hour. I can, and I will. I must admit, I am deeply fascinated by this story of Mary, a young girl in her late teens, maybe just in her 20s, but probably in her late teens, who is ready to marry a man from the city of Nazareth. Is told by an angel that she will give birth to the Son of God. That's how we meet her. We do not find her in some glorious place, but we meet her in the backyard of a ghetto house, probably hanging up clothes on the clothesline with a clothespin and a clothes pole. And an angel pops up on her and gives her this amazing idea of what her future will be like. And from that day on, her life begins to change. We watch her life go upside down. We watch her become the brunt of dissatisfaction in her family. We watch her leave home, go to live with Elizabeth. We watch all of the things that happen in this narrative. All because one day, look at somebody and just say, one day she decided to say yes to God. That one response, that one affirmation, that one yes turned her life upside down and irrevocably changed everything that would happen in her space. It's amazing, my brothers and sisters, to think how just one well-placed yes can turn your life around. God, I wish somebody got that. How one well-placed affirmation to God, that one yes you said to God, so took your life in a brand new direction. If I'm talking to anybody in here, I just need you to say amen. One day you said yes, and everything in your life has been different since that yes. An obscure, nameless nobody, a young girl from the ghetto of Nazareth, becomes the mother of Christ. But theologians will later call the Christotokos, the mother of Christ. One decision, just one decision, gives her what young people desire and older persons crave: recognition and significance. Can I press the point? See, people think it's starring in some viral video or being captured at some hot spot. That's why, incidentally, have you noticed people get super dressed up for a selfie? Me included. For a selfie, because we want it to be seen. We think that being in the company of fly people who are in the know, the A-list of Baltimore and vicinity, is going to earn them influence and significance, fame and recognition. But I want to just make this one little point. It was a yes to God that made Mary famous. But not just Mary. Abraham said yes. It was Moses' yes that made him famous. David's yes that made him famous. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, their yes that made them famous. Yes, Peter, James, and John. Yes, Nat Turner. Yes, DeMarc Vesey. Yes, Gabriel Prosser. Yes, Fannie Lou Hamer. Yes, Rosa Parks. Yes, Martin King. You want to be famous? Say yes to God. God, I need somebody to get on my street. You want your life to have meaning and significance and importance and influence, then what you ought to do is make a solid decision for Jesus Christ. He'll make something out of you faster than a viral video. He'll make something out of you faster than being a YouTube phenom. He'll make something out of you faster than having your face plastered on Instagram. He'll make something out of you faster than having 300 people view your picture on Facebook. He will give you significance. He will give you purpose. He will give you influence, and he will get you noticed. Slap five with somebody and tell them that's what I'm talking about. That one yes. That one yes that we read about earlier in chapter 1, that one little yes, I am the Lord's handmaiden, changed her life and brings her to our attention in the 21st century. Mary has said yes, and she's faced a lot of challenges. I told you last week, now she's finally arrived in Bethlehem, and she's saying to herself, this is really happening. This is really happening. But now that she's there, after this 90-mile ride down a rocky road with a man who she probably wants to slap by now, who's gotten on her last nerve, now the labor pains are starting. Uh-oh. Look at somebody, say, ouch. Childbirth is beginning. She can feel the contractions. And I just want to park for the balance of this sermon right outside the door of the emergency room while they are coming in. I just want to park right outside before the baby is born and just listen and share with Mary and Joseph. She's been through a lot up to now. Mom and Daddy fussed her out. People in the neighborhood talked about her. Joseph was about to get rid of her. She's had a 90-mile ride down a rocky road to another small town, and there's no room for her there. But it ain't nothing compared to this moment she's facing now. You see, her yes in Nazareth put her in the game. But this yes, this childbirth yes, makes her put some skin in the game. This is the real moment of testing for Mary. I need you to lean over to somebody and nudge them and say, this is the real time. See, somebody can ask, somebody may ask Trisha, well, what's this testing and what you talking about? She got to prove something. No, you got to read the story carefully. You got to look at it ins and out. See, Luke is a physician, and so he gives us the details of the story that might not be dropped in Matthew, Mark, or John. In fact, Luke tells a story almost totally different from Matthew, Mark, and John. He gives us all the intricate details. He tells us everything we need to know, everything that we need to have to understand the people in the text. Nudge somebody and say, let's go deep now. Mary and Joseph had made a 90-mile trek down to Bethlehem. And what's interesting is they've gotten there and there are no guest rooms. A guest room is just a room in a house. It's not really an inn like the Holiday Inn or Motel 6. It's just a room in somebody's house. There are no rooms available. None of their relatives have extra space. And the only thing they have is the area where the animals are kept right outside the house. And you can see it because it's a half wall between the animals and the people in the house. And they tell Mary and Joseph, you can go there. Mary and Joseph now have made the journey by themselves. They have come 90 miles. A young girl who is around 18 or 19, she's having her first child. Her period of pregnancy has not been good. She has not had a lot of folk talking to her about labor pains. They've just told her how disgusted they are with her. They've talked about how bad she has made them feel, and her life has not been good up till this moment. She has never had chick nor child before. This is her first baby. This is the first time she's ever feeling like this. She is having labor pains. Can I see the hands of the women in the church who know something about labor pains? If you're here and you remember how they felt, I need you to wave your hand. If you remember how you felt when you saw the Negro there that had made you pregnant, just wave your hand. If you remember how you thought you might go through conniptions in that moment, just wave your hand. If these were the worst pains you have ever felt, worse than gas, help me somebody, worse than a headache, come on, wave your hand. If this was something you thought was hatched in hell, that hell had found a new way to kill you, just wave your hand. If you thought this would never end, just wave your hand. Now you can understand Mary, but most of you who went through this had somebody there with you. Your mama was there. Your sister was there. Your girlfriend was there. If I'm right, just wave at me. But Luke is very specific. A young girl around 17, 18 years of age who has never had chick nor child, who has never had an experience like this, is down in Bethlehem without her mother, without her family, without her friends, without anybody she knows. She is going through living hell all by herself. And this is when the rubber meets the road. Help me somebody. Now is the time. The thoughts are flashing through her. She is facing the force, the rough force, the fierce force of childbirth in an unfamiliar place with unfamiliar people. And it's going through her head. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can handle this. See, there are only two options open to Mary. Preach, Walter Thomas. Oh, I feel my anointing in here now. There are only two options open to Mary, Kevin. One, she is going to find some help from women who happen to be around. She doesn't know any of them. She has no connection with them. Maybe they will help her. But if the women around do not help her, she cannot be helped by Joseph. She is 18 years old, by herself, without her mother, without her family, without her friends. If the people in the neighborhood don't help her, then she has to do this by herself. Now she is in a moment. She has been doing all this talking about, yes, it's really happening. Everything the angel said is really coming true. But now is the time, as the old folk used to say, she has to fish or cut bait. This is not a philosophical issue any longer. This is for real. She has to give birth to this baby. And the text does not imply that Mary said, I can't do it. I don't think I can do this. Joseph, I don't think I can handle this. I don't think I can do this. But I think Joseph, like any good man, looked at Mary and said, Mary, can you do this? Are you all right? Mary, can you make it? Can you handle it? Mary, what are you going to do? How you going to do this? And Mary looked at him and said, Joseph, I can do this and I will do this. And I'm preaching this sermon this morning to help somebody understand there comes a moment in your life when you have to prove something to yourself. Huh? Slap five with somebody and tell them you got to prove something to yourself. I said this is a time of testing. Mary has to test to see if she's ready for this. Now get this. God will test you. But God never tests you to break you. God tests you so that you can discover what you are really made of and what you can really handle in the situations you thought you couldn't face. Preach, preacher, this morning. I don't know who in this room needs to hear this. You may break in the struggle, but it ain't because God broke you. It's because you decided you couldn't do it. But any struggle God puts you in, God wants you to discover what you are really made of. Somebody here needs to look at this story carefully because a new day is dawning in your life, and you can't keep talking about it. You can't keep wishing for it. You can't keep hoping it comes. Today is the birthing day. The birthing day has arrived, and you have to declare to yourself, I can and I will. Slap five with somebody. Tell them I can. I can do this. I will do this. I shall accomplish. Oh, God, I feel like preaching. I can make it over this. I can make this happen. The devil is a liar. I can survive this situation. Am I talking to anybody in here? See, we want the laurel wreath on our head, and we want the victor's crown. But the only way to succeed and to give God glory is to stand up and say, I'm going to make this thing happen, come hell or high water. See, this is what we want, but it's not going to happen. You are not going to see your dreams come true. You are not going to see things happen by standing on the sideline talking about I wish, I hope, I could. No, baby, what God has put in you is trying to be birthed right now. These are not Braxton Hicks contractions. Let somebody say you can't stop these. A bag of magnesium is not going to stop what's happening in your life right now. God is trying to birth something. God is trying to bring something to pass. And you've got to stand there and say, I can do it. I will do it. I shall make it happen. God, I feel like preaching now. This is the day to birth whatever God has put in you. Slap five with somebody and tell them, make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. Make it happen. There is no more opportunity for procrastination. You've got to stop putting it off. You can't hold off. I'll get to this next week, next month, next year. Baby, the labor pains have started. It's time for delivery. We ain't got time to sit up and go to the mall. We can't go to the movie. We got to be heading to give birth to what God has put inside of you. The day has come to fight through and birth what God has given you. God, I wish I had a witness. Look at somebody and say, I can and I will. Mary, you're a young girl, 18 years of old age, maybe 17, maybe 16. You never had a baby, you never birthed chick nor child. Your pregnancy has not been easy. You've been the subject of negative conversation. How in the world do you look at Joseph? You don't even know, if anybody's helping you, you don't even know these people. Your mama ain't there. Your sister ain't there. I wish I could see the hands of folk who remember when men couldn't go in the labor room. Anybody here remember that? When your mama was in there with you. Then they finally regressed the men coming in. Now they got birthing rooms, the whole family there. With a camcorder. Putting it on Instagram. Too much info. Mary and Joseph, not even in the back seat of a cab. They're out there where the animals are, no help. Mary said, I'm going to tell you. Joseph said, can you do this, Mary? Mary said, I can, and I, wait a minute, not just I can, but I can, and don't count me short. Joseph, it's me against the world right now. Can I see the hands of folk who've ever felt like it's you against the world? Come on, don't play. Don't sit in here and lie. Pluck that halo off your head and tell the truth for once. How many of you ever felt sometime it was you against the whole world? That nothing was in your favor, nobody was in your corner, and it was you against the world. Come on, wave at me if you've been there. Nudge somebody and tell them I've been there. But Mary said, I'm waving my hand, Joseph, because it's me against the world. But I got news for you. I can. And I will. I said, how does a young girl with no experience, who's from the hood, from the ghetto, from the back part of the ghetto where nobody good comes out of Nazareth, how can you talk with such power and purpose and stand up and be so definitive about what you're going to do and what you're going to handle? Mary said, you just don't understand, Walter. I got reason to talk like this. I know why I'm talking with confidence and certainty. You know why? I said, Mary, help me understand. She said, it looks pretty bad, doesn't it? I'm out here pregnant with just Joseph and no family, and nobody's here with me, and we're giving birth to the baby in the place where the animals are. But you've got to understand something. You know why I say I can do this? And you know why I say I will do this? Because contrary to popular opinion, this is my season of victory. Oh, God. See, you got to believe in your journey and the God of your journey. The journey, no, had not been easy. In the eyes of many, Mary was barely a survivor. But Mary didn't see herself like that. She was not a survivor. I need you to look at somebody and tell them, I'm not a survivor. No, baby, I've lost my job. I've lost my money. I lost my house. The people talked about me. People scandalized my name. I've been messed over. I've been maligned. I'm down here in Bethlehem in a barn. It ain't been easy, but I'm not a survivor. No, baby, you don't understand. Mary from Nazareth, who lived on the backside of a poor neighborhood, who met an angel in the alley of a ghetto. No, Mary is not a survivor. Mary is a conqueror. And I just need to talk to some folk. Can I preach this thing like I want? Trisha, folk have got to understand this. See, a survivor has little impetus to do something later. A survivor regularly reminded of what you've lost and what failures you've had. But a conqueror, oh no, baby. A conqueror comes to the moment with the success of the last moment. A conqueror steps up saying, he didn't bring me this far to leave me now. The conqueror says, I made it through this, I made it through that, I made it through the other, I'm gonna make it through this. Can I preach this thing? Listen, some of y'all need to understand that words define worlds. Brian, I'm going to say that again. Words define worlds. And some of y'all are creating the wrong world in your head. You're talking about, I survived him. I survived her. You ain't survived him. You ain't survived her. You are a conqueror. They are under your foot. You didn't survive anything. You conquered heartbreak. You conquered sadness. You conquered disappointment. You conquered being put down. You conquered being broke. You conquered being left. You conquered being hurt. I need about 20 people in here who know you ain't a survivor of nothing, baby. You are a conqueror. God has given you power to mount up on wings like an eagle, to run and not be weary. Joshua led the children of Israel to victory because they were not survivors from Egypt. They were conquerors. And I need somebody to understand, if God brought you through something, you need to change your vocabulary and start understanding you are in a season of victory. I am in a season of victory. I didn't fall apart when I lost my job. Didn't lose my mind when I lost my house. I am in a season of victory. Mary, what are your victories? I made it down 90 Mile Road on the back of a donkey. Mary, what are your victories? I survived Nazareth when they were talking about me. Mary, what are your victories? My mama and my daddy will still love me when I get home. Mary, what are your victories? I am here trusting God that he didn't bring me this far to leave me now. I've got a trail of victories behind me. I am not a survivor. Look at somebody and say, you're looking at a conqueror. I conquered fear. I conquered doubt. I conquered depression. I conquered sadness. I conquered hurt. I conquered brokenness. I conquered failure. I conquered setbacks. You are looking at a conqueror. This is how a conqueror dresses. This is how a conqueror walks. This is how a conqueror looks. This is how a conqueror talks. And I got it all through God Almighty. Nudge the person beside you. Say, I'm a conqueror. Words define worlds. I'm going to move on, but I just got to stay here for one second. You define yourself as a survivor, you are always climbing up. You define yourself as a conqueror, you are standing on top. And you know how you know when you're a conqueror? When you can look at people who hurt you and start laughing. Mary can say, I can and I will, because I do not define myself as a survivor. I am a conqueror. I need to see the hands of folk who in 2018 saw life throw some boulders at you. But slap five with the person beside you and say, I'm still standing. Frida, there's some conquerors in this house. Conquerors. Wait a minute. I'm not going to be much longer. I got to get all this out. Wait a minute, Mary. Mary, how you're 17 years old. You haven't had the easiest pregnancy. Nobody's been in your corner. It's you against the world. You felt like ain't nobody been on your side. And yet, you and your little 17-year-old self stand up talking about, I can and I will, because you refuse to define yourself as a survivor. God, I need some black people in here to get out of survivor mode. I need some black folk to put a smile on your face and say, you sitting beside a conqueror, baby. I need some folk who know you have come through hell and high water and you didn't survive it, you conquered it. Because words create worlds. The language you use creates the world you live in. Darius, I could stop right there and go home and shout. The language you use defines the world you live in. I need you to look at somebody and tell them, I'm getting me some new language. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He didn't bring me this far to leave me now. I will mount up on wings like an eagle. I will run and not be weary. Ask and it shall be given. Seek and you shall. Whatsoever I ask in his name, believing, he will pray the Father and he will give it to me. My strength is made perfect in my weakness. Oh, God, knowing all these things, I am more than a conqueror. Nothing shall separate me from the love of God that I have found in Christ Jesus. Neither heights nor depths, nor angels, nor powers, nor principality. I fight not against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. But no weapon formed against me shall prosper. For God will give me what I need in the moment that I stand. Why? Because my words create my world. My words create my world. That's why I must choose appropriately and selectively the words I use, because they create. Mary said, I can't, because I'm not a survivor. Wait a minute, Mary, help me. Mary said, but that ain't the only reason. She said, oh no. She said, because this childbirth thing is hell. She said, it's taking me low. My edges are. I need a comb. My makeup gone. I got nail prints in Joseph's arm. This is a beast. This childbirth is a booger. Am I on anybody's street? I said, well, Mary, how did you say I can and I will? Mary said, let me help you. Not only do words create worlds, but I said I can and I will because I learned when you trust God. Get this. There comes a moment you have to lift yourself up from now and start living in the anticipation of tomorrow. Mary said, right now, this is living hell. But you know why I say I can? Because I'm living in the anticipation of the joy that tomorrow is going to bring me. And I don't know who I'm talking to, but part of the reason you are still in labor is because you can't get past labor. You have to start envisioning what tomorrow is going to look like with this problem gone. I don't know what your problem is. Sometimes your problem might be a person in your life. You've got to start visualizing tomorrow with them being gone. And start saying to yourself, whatever it is you're going through, you got to start saying, tomorrow, God's got a way of working this out. Mary said, I'm going through hell right now, but tomorrow I'm going to rock this baby. Tomorrow I'm going to get to look in his face. Tomorrow I'm going to start being a mother. Tomorrow I'm going to start having the joy of motherhood. Y'all ain't feeling where I'm coming from. See, some of y'all are being stopped by your labor pains. You've got to go beyond your labor pains and start dreaming about what tomorrow is going to look like when God solves the problem of today. Slap five with somebody and tell them today's problem is almost over, because I'm about to step to it. God, I feel a shout getting ready to come. Grab somebody and tell them, I see tomorrow. I see new opportunities. I see new fellowship. I see my dreams coming true. I see the things I really want happening, but I gotta get through here. Well, I need you to grab somebody. Tell them, push, baby. Push, baby. Push, baby. Push. If you got to work from sunrise to sundown, push. If you got to struggle with your children, push. If you got to work harder than you ever worked before, push. But whatever it takes, push, 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 because tomorrow is coming. I need a shout on tomorrow. I need you to grab somebody and tell them, I'm shouting for my tomorrow. I'm shouting for my tomorrow. I see my problems gone. I see my headaches gone. I see the mess gone. God, I feel like a praise ought to break out. Grab somebody, tell them, nobody but God. Nobody but God. Now tell them, I can and I will. I'll make it happen. I'll get through this. I'll do this, because I see what God has for me. And what God has for me, it is for me. I'm claiming it. I'm grabbing it. I'm going after it. I'm shouting about it. I'm praising him. I'm declaring it. I'm pushing and I'm shouting. I'm pushing and I'm praising. I'm pushing and I'm dreaming. I'm pushing and I'm believing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Grab 3 people on that road. Say, don't stop pushing. Don't stop pushing. You gotta get past it. You gotta get past it. See your tomorrow. And I'm free. I'm free. I'm free. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I want everybody to stand. I don't believe you brought me this far. What little victories has God given you recently? What little victories has God given you? He gave them to you so you would know this is your season of victory. How many of you know about a season of defeat? But now you're in a season of victory. You're in a season where what you lay your hand to, believe in God, will come to pass. Can I see the hands of folk who had to push through today, believing in tomorrow? Mary said, I can and I will, because I believe in tomorrow. Listen, the scriptures say, wherefore let us run this race with patience, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who, get this, who, for the joy that was set before him, endured the cross, despising the pain, and now is seated at the right hand of the Father. Jesus endured the cross for the joy of seeing you and me get right. What does tomorrow hold for you? I need you to think for a moment. What are the possibilities that tomorrow holds if you would just push today? If you just push through today, what does tomorrow offer you? Mary said, I can, because I believe that tomorrow I'm going to hold this baby. Old song we used to sing said, just one glimpse of him in glory will the toils of life repay. Nobody told you that the road would be easy, but
believe
he brought
me this to lead me.
Is there a witness? I need some folk who can testify. If you don't have a